right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, salutations to you sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. Risk your life to do so. I'm the brother Shimon of Great Millstone, Chicago. All right, and I just had a quick hit on a hot topic, the Greeks and the Jews. The Greeks and the Jews. Because some people, when you say, oh, Jews and Greeks, the Greeks, so that was talking about the heathens. And this is one of the pillars they try to use in replacement theology, right? They try to say that now the temple is open for everybody, and that the people of the church are the spiritual Israel. All right, salvation is open for everybody now. It's open for them, and that's not the case. All right, the people that was talking about were Israelites who had become Gentiles. Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. Right now, the average so-called black, so-called Latino, so-called Native American, they consider themselves American. So I'm an American. Whatever type of American you are. I'm a Latin American, I'm a Black American, Native American, whatever. All right, the same is, it's the same. It's the same. All right, 1 Corinthians 10:1. Moreover, brethren, I would not. Hey, the scriptures is for Israelites. It's for Israel. All right, pertaining to the flesh, pursuant to Romans 9. All right. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud and passed through the sea. Right, it's talking about, it's recounting Exodus, with the Israelites went through the Suez Canal, right, with the chariot over them, chariot of the Lord over them, cloud by day, the fire by night, and were all baptized under Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Hamashiach. And with many of them, in that cloud was the Lord. But with many of them, the Most High was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. And it's talking about the Israelites. All right, this is going back into the ways of our fathers. Yeah, you had some of that wild olive branch who had branched, who had left, or they were branched off. Okay, they were lost. All right, but like it says, not all are called to repentance. All right, because you had the period when the Greeks came through. All right, first Maccabees, we always go into that. All right, it tells you what. Let's get that. And they be losing my sword. Been tripping lately. They like to lose my little bookmark. All right, first Maccabees 1, and the whole chapter is good, of course, but 41, it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. All right, so you had those who left, seeing that Antiochus had taken over the region. All right, then you have the events of the Maccabees. They fought back. They fought against it. The Lord was with them. The angels were with them, and they resisted them. All right, then you have, because there's a gap here in terms of history. The events of 2nd Esdras 11 happen after Antiochus and his forces are defeated. Right, because there's a gap between there and then Matthew, the time of our Lord. At that point, the Greeks have fallen, and now it's the Greco-Roman Empire. The Roman Empire has been established, which is the same people, but it's established under slightly. It's a slight variation. Okay, it's still Esau Edom though. Esau Edom is taking over. This is 2nd Esdras 11:1. Then saw I a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle which had 12 feathered wings, and 3 heads. All right, the 12 wings represent 12 Caesars. All right, then the 3 heads, that represents the triumvirate. All right, Julius Caesar. Then you had Crassus, who was an aristocrat. He was very wealthy. All right, then you had Pompey, General Pompey. All right, and General Pompey in 63 BC was the one who gained control over, is the siege of Jerusalem, gained control over Jerusalem and the rest. All right, so you had the Romans, they rose up and we had to fight them, all right, that great red dragon. Because remember, the Greek Empire, that's the goat, right, the notable horn. All right, and then that dragon had to come up, which is the Roman Empire. It said, and I saw, and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her and were gathered together. Basically control. She spread her wings over the whole earth. They were able to gain control over everything. Rome went into power. Right, and that became, basically Israel became tributaries. All right, the Greeks, like we saw, basically they wanted you to become one with them. Right, put down your own shit and become one with us. And if you don't, we're gonna force you to do it. Hellenization. The Romans, they let you, the Greeks, they pillaged the temple, they ransacked Jerusalem. It became strange. The Romans, they seized Jerusalem, but they didn't destroy it. And then basically they allowed us to do, to continue business, but we had to be tributaries. All right, so in that way, the Romans were different. You had to be tributaries under Rome. All right, then that's why you have the publicans. Those publicans who were tax collectors, basically they were considered by our people sellouts. Right, you collect the money for the Romans that we got to give. It was considered blood money. Right, and I just wanted to give a quick history for when you see the New Testament, this is why the stage is set for Israel to be under that Greek vibration. Right, 1 Corinthians 10, you go all the way to the bottom, 32, it says, give none offense neither to the Jews, nor to the Gentiles, nor to the church of the Most High. All right, so, people were counted as Gentiles when they were in Greek, when they were in Rome, when they were in anything else but Israel. All right, that's why these letters were so important. All right, that's why the Lord said, the Lord was, when Yahushua was on the scene, what did he do? He went to the Jews. Then he said, look, we're going to go after this. We ain't going to go to the Jews because the church was corrupt. After this, he said, look, we're going to go to the Gentiles now. All right, the light to the Gentiles. This was completely unprecedented, the things that were done. All right, but it was prophecy, the light to the Gentiles. The Gentiles, many of them had to be brought back. All right, they had to be brought back to who they were, and that's what you see when you see the New Testament. All right, all these things add up with prophecy, because the only ones who can receive the light is the Israelites. All right, the scriptures talk about that. All right, you are the light. You are a light to the world. A city that is set on the hill cannot be hid. All right, Isaiah 49:6, and he said, "It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth." All right, this is what we see done. And this is why, jumping back to John 12, and 20, it says, "And there were certain Greeks among them that came up to worship at the feast." These were Israelites. All right, why would random Greeks just, you know what I'm saying, these people who had put us into captivity come up and you know, doesn't make sense. All right, doesn't make sense. Yeah, the Syrophoenician woman, she was a Greek. All right, but when you say Syrophoenician, right, what does that mean? Syria Phoenician. Right? But she was a Greek at the same time. How? Let's look at that word up, Syrophoenician. The name of a mixed nation, half Phoenicians and half Syrians. Right? But we know through the story, we know through the blessings that the Lord put on her. All right, verse 27, "But Yahushua said unto her, Let the children first be filled, for it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs. And she answered and said unto him, Yes, Lord, yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs. And he said unto her, For this saying, go thy way, the devil is gone out of thy daughter." So the Lord blessed her ultimately because she was an Israelite, and she acknowledged him for who he was. That's why she came to him in the first place. But she was under the banner of another nation. All right, she was going, and you know, she was under a heathen nation. That's why, more than likely, that devil jumped on her daughter in the first place. Because when you go into these other nations, that's basically what happens, man. You open you open your mind to devils. That's why you see our people in all these other nations, and they're just out of their mind. Right? But you can clearly see, like, this is Jake, you know, the salt, but they're going into the ways of the heathen. All right. Now, if you were in the land, which, you know, the land of Israel was considered blessed above all. All right. So there was a certain status associated with that. Then you had certain rights. All right. Now, under this particular captivity, you had a lot of us who embraced these captive nations versus the nation under whose bloodline that they were under, if you understand what I'm saying. Right, that's why you see all these people, the good Samaritan, which he was an Israelite. Right, that word for Greek, for her is going to say a Greek woman, a Gentile woman, not a Jewess. So they missed the point. They missed it. All right, Helen, a Greek either by nationality, whether a native of the mainland or of the Greek islands or colonies. Verse 2, in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations, not Jews that made the language, custom, and learning of the Greeks their own. The primary reference is to a difference of religion and worship. Right, by extension, it says the bottom, by extension, a Greek-speaking person. this is why, number one, Herod wanted to kill the Lord before he was born, right, because it was prophesied that he would be born, and the time period even that he would be born was prophesied in Idris. And then it gives different locations to where he would be at, but Herod could never put his finger on it. And by the time, all was said and done, he was dead, and the Lord came on the scene. According to prophecy, there was nothing he could have done to stop that. That was that, because it was prophesied he would be in Bethlehem, Ephratah, Egypt, and then man, this is another location off the top of my head. I can't remember, but if you do, you're listening to this, put in the chat. Lord willing, though, that's probably a subject for another lesson, though. But back to this main topic, talking about the Israelites who were going off. This is why when the Lord was crucified, John 19:20, matter of fact, 19 and 19, and Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. This title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Yahushua was crucified was nigh to the city. It was near to the city, and it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin, Latin being the language of Rome. All right, and this is for all of our people, right? Because this was them executing the crucifixion of our king, who they knew was our king. All right, it was known to Herod. It was known to many who have reviewed all of our scrolls, which Esau, they did that. All right, and then for us, our people, to understand what was going on, they had it in these three different languages, which were the languages of the empire. All right, so that's pretty much all I had. Different context clues tell you different things. It's not talking about a bunch of Edomites who had rule over the kingdom of Israel, all right, but allowed us, the Israelites, to stay there and become tributaries. It's not talking about actual Greeks and actual Romans. It's talking about Israelites who were scattered. All right, Romans 9. Was that James 1 to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. So, Lord willing, is edifying. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Yahweh Shashawan.